going for the king of pop, Michael Jackson's palm reading. So rest in peace, legend, and let's get into the palm reading. So first of all, the first thing I notice is that there's a giant star on the Mount of Jupiter. So basically, there are two types of star. One is a giant star on the base of the Mount of Jupiter, and one is a star on the side, small star on the side. But here we see a giant star on the Mount of Jupiter. So what does this mean? This means that your all your ambitions are fulfilled in your life. You reach the highest point of your career. That's why he was dubbed the king of pop, because he reached the apex of his career. So this is what it means when you have a giant star. Another uh, interesting aspect of his poem is one line of the head is coming from the mount of Jupiter, and one line is coming attached with the lifeline. So this means that he had two personalities. He had a double personality. And also, if we see what Kiro said, he said that a person who is self-made and from his mental aspects, mental conditions, he rises to the top. Those type of people have headlines which start from very distinct positions, two headlines which start from very distinct positions, because Kiro himself also had two distinct headlines similar to this. So this means that in one side he was very insecure, introverted. On one side he was very confident. So it was a side that he showed to the world, a different side of him, and to himself he was a different person. So there's that. And next we see that there's a girdle of Venus being drawn here, a broken girdle of Venus. So this means extra sensitivity. And it can also cause hysteria in the wrong type of person. When it is the health issue can turn into hysteria. And then we see that the heartline is going all the way into the Jupiter, into the star. So this means that one person or more, because there are two relationship lines on the side of the hand, those helped in the ambition of this person, and in the relationship that helped the ambition of the person. But the heart line is too long, it's going till the end of the hand. This means that this person was very idealistic, very selective. So these type of people, they usually have, even with the star, they have problems in their personal life. So with the double headline, with the broken girdle of Venus, we can see that this person had issues in their personal life because of the double mentality. And next we see the fate line. We see that the fate line is starting connected to the lifeline. So it's not exactly connected, but it's touching. So this means that at one point he had to be responsible for his family. So at this point, it is said that he was beaten by his dad in the early part of life. So this can also be shown as the because whenever the fate line touches the lifeline, it means that there is some responsibility, some burden on the shoulders of the child who possesses this type of indication. So that could also mean that. And then we see that at 30 there is one line coming and entering the fate line. So at 30, it could mean that at 30 some person entered his life and changed it for the better. It was some relationship which entered his life and changed it for the better. We then see the fingers. We see that the first phalanges are developed, and the fingers, if we see the fingers themselves, it's very interesting that the third phalanges are undeveloped. So this means that this person remained fit. If we also see, he remained physically slim throughout his life. He was very slim, he never got on weight. So people with slim third phalanges, they usually stay slim throughout their life and they stay healthy, even though he succumbed to his health problems in the end. We see that the Apollo finger is unsurprisingly longer than the Jupiter finger, which shows a lot of talent and a lot of show, a lot of a person who likes to pomp and show. And then we see that the first phalanges are developed, which shows an intellectual mindset. So these are also important. And then we see that the little finger, which is the finger of talent, it's squarish. So if we see the squarish tip, this means that this person was very practical when it comes to the talent. Of course, he was a singer and a dancer, and you need practicality when it comes to that. He was also highly intelligent, which is shown by the double headlines and also by the Mercury finger reaching above the first phalange of the Apollo finger. So he was highly intelligent, but he was also high strung and nervous, which is shown by the minor lines on the palm like this. So there are minor lines on the palm as well. We also see that the thumb is relatively short. Usually people who reach the apex of their career, they have long thumbs, but here the thumb is short, but the will phalange is very developed. So this means this person was extremely stubborn to a fault, and this could also cause problems in the personal life. So but here we see the angle of generosity is good. It's not too the wide gap is not too wide, but it's just normal. So this means that this person was generous with his money as well. So what caused the problems? We also see these type of lines interfering. These are called worry lines from the Mount of Venus. So these also cause health problems, also cause problems with the family members, the loved ones. And then we see that the lifeline itself ends in a tassel formation. So this also shows the poor end of life, poor health in the last years of life. This is about at 60, but he died at 50. So again, palmistry cannot predict death, because if you see here, by this calculation, I can see he can live up till 50 at least. And then we see that the sun line is also present. Now, when the sun line is present here, this means that at 54 years of age, the sun line is present. That means he must have lived beyond 50. And then we see there are some lines. This line is cutting at around the age of, I would say 56. There's a line cutting the sun line. So this means a loss of reputation. Again, there was a posthumous loss of reputation as well, because there were allegations against him of child abuse. So those things also occurred in his life, that there were allegations. Of course, it was not proven, and he won, and he did not have a guilty verdict, but it does hamper hinder the reputation of the person. So there's that. But overall, I would say that even though he was troubled mentally and stuff, he was still very talented and very generous and a good-hearted human being. So that's what matters the most of any person. Like celebrities, most of them, they succumb to fame and become very hysterical and etc. But here we see that this person did not live for fame, or did not live for like himself, but he was generous with his money and time. We also see a via lesciva line here. There's a via lesciva line, so this means addiction. So he might have been addicted to drugs or something. Maybe this was hidden. I don't know if it was public, but he might have had some bad addiction. It could be drugs, it could be something else. So this addiction was also his downfall. And then we see an island towards the end of the heartline as well. And this is also starting from the point of this, I would say, was starting from the point of the 50s. So an island, a prolonged island under the Mercury mount, means that heart-related problems towards the end of the life, towards the middle age. So maybe this is one thing which was showing the health problems. So there's that. So overall, I would say that even though we see also we see two relationships here, even though we see that his hand has some downfall, we see that he was not a leadership material guy, because he has a low set Jupiter finger, which also makes him how do you say, a sage. But we also see that this hand is a prime example of what fame also does to a person. So his personal life was always in tatters, was always controversial, but his public life, which is shown by this headline, was always successful. So even if he was publicly successful, personally he wasn't that successful, even though he was a kind-hearted human being. So we found out so many things today about Michael Jackson. So I hope you found this reading very interesting. So with that, I'm ending the palm reading. If any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.